What is a massive American scandal that most people seem to not know about? The Church of Scientology blackmailed and threatened IRS people to get their tax-exempt status. The NYC mayor's wife misplaced a whole lot of money and nobody seems to care. Edit. Warren Wilhelm, more commonly known as Bill de Blasio, appointed his wife who then proceeded to lose $850 million. Edit 2. https://en.m.wikipedia.org/wiki/Churlane_McRae. The for-profit juvenile detention system. Basically, judges in Pennsylvania were intentionally handing out harsher sentences because these for-profit juvenile prisons contributed to the judges' campaign. In PA they elect their judges, which blows my mind for this very reason, but that's another story. That Americans granted immunity to the physicians of Unit 731 in exchange for providing America with all the research they had conducted on biological warfare as well as the data from all of their human experimentation. Pretty fucked up. Human experimentations included vivisections without anesthesia. They had also been infected with things like cholera and the plague. The subjects used to study gangrene had limbs amputated and reattached to other parts of their body. Others had limbs crushed, frozen, or circulation cut off. When they were near death and considered useless, they would then be killed finally. They had male prisoners infected with syphilis rape women, from ages 12 to 80, and meant to see how the disease progressed. They were especially interested on how that would affect fetuses. They would also dissect both the woman and baby, sometimes just the fetus, upon birth. Unit 731. Not sure how big a deal it is in America, but I read Empire of Pain recently, and the opioid crisis and the behavior of basically everyone involved with the Sackler family and its companies was absolutely shocking. The CIA trafficking cocaine to the US to sell to drug dealers to fund death squads in Central America. Also the general incompetence of the CIA. The DuPont scandal. DuPont Chemical dumped thousands of tons of chemical waste containing a long-chain fluorocarbon, also known as PFOA, into waterways in Parkersburg, West Virginia. These chemicals were found to directly cause cancer and birth defects. Unfortunately, the irresponsible disposal and manufacturing of this chemical didn't just affect America. Trace amounts of PFOAs can be found in virtually every single living creature on Earth. The FBI knew the pedophile Larry Nassar was a molesting child gymnasts and allowed him to continue for years. They went so far as to falsify the testimony of the victims. No one at the FBI has been punished. Nassar was sentenced in 2017. The Tulsa Race Massacre. 35 square blocks. https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Tulsa_race_massacre. The business plot. Smedley Butler alleged that a cotter of Wall Street bigwigs approached him, through a bond salesman, to lead an army of 500,000 men on Washington, overthrow FDR, and install Butler as a dictator. It was laughed off as it could never happen, but the committee assigned to investigate it discovered that basically the plan was already finished, and the conspirators were just waiting to pull the trigger. Pretty much everything Henry Kissinger did in his entire career. The fact that he's not locked away for crimes against humanity is truly remarkable. The absolute and cataclysmic failure of the foster care system. How about that time the major telecoms took over $400 billion to install fiber optics in homes, schools, and libraries across the entire country and just didn't? The money was just reinvested in the companies to expand overseas and pay legal fees fighting against competitors with fiber plans and blocking future expansion. Here is $400 billion, please use it to give us all good internet. Okay. Hey, where's that high-speed internet you were gonna put in? Oh, we decided that was way too expensive, it would cost like $400 billion and we just don't have the money. Have this DSL instead over the existing network. In terms of political scandals that were major at the time but hardly remembered today. The Abscom operation. The FBI set up a fake Arab investment company and offered various state and federal officials bribes to pass bills that would better enable their investment process. It led to the convictions of half a dozen representatives and a senator for bribery. The Keating Five. In 1989, in the midst of the savings and loan crisis, banker Charles Keating was charged with fraud and racketeering. During the investigation, 5 senators to whom he donated substantial sums, including John Glenn and McCain, were accused of having pressured federal regulators to drop previous cases against Keating. The Senate Ethics Committee found that none of them had formally broken any laws, but found 3 of them were implicated enough to be formally censured. The House banking scandal. It was revealed that numerous congressmen had been overdrawing their office accounts with zero financial accountability. It resulted in the convictions of 3 former representatives and the House Sergeant-at-Arms for bribery and corruption. The Abramoff scandals. Jack Abramoff was a federal lobbyist, primarily involved in gambling and Indian tribal law, who was convicted of defrauding and overbilling Indian tribal councils he was representing to the tunes of tens of millions of dollars. Investigations also revealed that he was giving unlicensed gifts to congressmen, leading to a representative being convicted of accepting bribes and the Deputy Secretary of the Interior being convicted of obstruction of justice. The media destroyed Gary Webb's career because he exposed the C.I.A's connection to cocaine. Newspapers like the New York Times later apologized. Tuskegee Syphilis Study. It was a 40-year-long study conducted between 1932 and 1972 by the U.S. Public Health Service that involved 400 African American men with syphilis who were not informed of their condition or given proper treatment in order to study the progression of the disease. Those Turpin siblings that escaped being chained to their beds by their shitty parents? Happy ending, right? Yeah, no. Turns out their foster parents ended up abusing them even worse, and now a bunch of them are suing. Edited to add, I'm not American and this update did not make international news at all. Nobody I've spoken to about this knew of the update. DA given to pregnant women from 1940 until 1971. It gave girls who were born after prenatal exposure a much higher risk of several cancers, including one cancer that no one else gets. It also causes an inability to carry pregnancies in some women who were exposed to it before birth. Boys born after exposure were cryptorchid and had a high rate of micropenis. There was a registry for these children so they could be tracked for medical needs and if other effects cropped up, but Congress did away with the registry. The changes that DA cause to gene expression are heritable, and it is now affecting DA granddaughters and great-granddaughters. While Congress has funded continuing research on effects, there is no registry anymore, so no possibility that DA daughters will ever see any compensation. The FDA approved the drug for use in pregnant women based on a single non-blind study. The business plot against FDR. Wall Street tried to lead a coup against sitting President FDR. Ohio right now? Edit, who doesn't love the smell of cancer in the morning? Big sniff. Edit 2, thank you on the kind awards. Honestly didn't expect to see the traction this note got. Edit 3, https://www.reddit.com/r/damn that's interesting /few_days_ago_carrying_hazardous_medium=UTM_medium=sign share &UTM_medium=name=iOS_SMF. The public have an insatiable curiosity to know everything, except what is worth knowing. Oscar Wilde. Again, thank you, kind strangers.